Hello, I'm Christina Kane, author of the book Eye Connecting: The Soul's Quest. I plan to produce a series of podcasts about the way our inner being works, specifically about the relationship between our soul and our higher self. In my observation of modern society, I see that many people are looking for their soulmate, when they're not even mates with their own soul. The yearning we feel to find our soulmate could even be a yearning to know our own selves better. Understanding more about our inner nature gives us a new sense of freedom. Since the release of the book, this has been confirmed by people emailing me saying that for the first time they have become clear about what is going on in their being and where they might start to take more control. I invite you to the website eyeconnecting.com, where on the forum you can ask any questions that arise for you, and I plan to use these questions for future podcasts. On the website you can read some reviews about the book and some sample pages. You will also read about workshops and a workbook created by my colleague Anita Joy Louis. We hope to assist you to experience yourself in a new way by giving you simple guidelines to become aware of your inner and outer personality. The best place to start is to realize that we are more than physical bodies. We are beings of body, soul, and spirit. When we discover the inner nature of our own soul and its relationship to our higher self, our spirit, we become much more confident and self-assured. Some of the mystery of who we are is revealed, and we feel liberated. So, if we have a soul, where is it, and what does it do? And what is our spirit? To be able to truly understand ourselves, we need to build a picture of the place of our soul and our spirit in our being. If you've ever looked into a coffin to see the lifeless body lying there, it's then that we realise that the personality we knew is no longer present. We usually recognise the face, and then we are hit by the fact that there is much more to this person than their physical body. Yet science continues to ignore this part of us that is obviously present while we live and leaves us when we die. A good way to discover our soul activity is to think about what happens when we go to sleep. We could say that our soul becomes inactive. Our senses shut down, our thinking stops. This is almost a death-like state. When we wake up, our soul becomes active again and assists us to comprehend the world. It is through our soul that we make sense of what we see in our surroundings. In essence, our soul is an activity within us, which is created by the way we feel, think, and act. Obviously, when we die, we stop feeling, thinking, and acting. And it is this activity that leaves the shell of our body at death. Apart from that, we must ask, who is feeling, thinking, and acting? And of course the answer is, I am. This I, or self, is the name we call ourselves when we refer to ourselves, and this is our human spirit. Our I, this self, experiences life through our soul and our body. And we could use a good analogy here, the analogy of the artist or the gardener. The I is the artist, the soul is his work of art, and the body is the canvas. And similarly with the gardener, the I is the gardener, the garden is the soul, and the soil is the body. When we become conscious of how we paint the canvas or tend the garden, we wake up to our soul. We become aware of what our soul is actually doing. And of course, we all want to understand ourselves better. We all want to know how to get along with others more harmoniously. And we all want to have loving relationships. Knowledge of our soul and spirit holds the key to developing these aspects of our lives. Now, how can we discover our soul and experience that we are more than just a physical body? It is a great exercise to ask a few people if they have a soul. And you'll find that after a long pause, many people say, yes. And then, when we ask them where it is, they'll wave their hands vaguely around their heart and neck. Or some others think that their soul isn't connected with them, that it just has to do with their family or their environment. And still others think of their soul as a thing associated with death, that it leaves them when their body dies. But they have few ideas about what it does while their body lives. And then still others think that the soul is something to do with religion. And if they have rejected religion, therefore, they conclude that they probably don't have a soul. Now, feeling, thinking and willing are the core functions of the conscious human being. It is the way we use feeling, thinking and our will that reveals the colour of our soul. As we grow and mature, it is possible to use them in a more refined way according to the strength of our connection to our higher self, our I connection. The peak human spirit experience is to be able to use them with clarity and awareness. Yet for the most part, many of us only use them in a dreamy, semi-conscious or unconscious way. So, are we born with a soul? Newborn babies, you'll observe, are absorbed in 3 core activities. They cry, they eat, and they excrete. They can't focus their eyes, they can't smile, and they certainly can't coordinate their limbs. So why is this? The answer to this question carries the key to understanding the soul. Usually, our soul isn't connected with our body when we're born, and by observing a newborn baby closely, you'll see that the human soul connects up with us when, as babies, our eyes are able to focus. The time for this soul connection can vary from at the time of birth to many weeks after birth. Some babies accept their soul easily and others do not, and this can be observed in the amount of restlessness in the baby. As we grow from children to adults, our soul life is moulded. We each have specific ways of feeling, thinking and acting. This moulding is influenced by many factors, including the country we grow up in. And scientists are now discovering that they can identify race in our DNA. Instead of race, I would prefer to identify different soul moods in the different places of the world, and these soul moods are influenced by many conditions, especially climate, which has a deep effect on the way we think and form our habits and values. Then, some people are closely bonded to the national soul mood, while others feel at home in whatever country they visit or live. Also, those living in the city differ from those living in the country, and even living in specific suburbs within a city also affects our soul. And the reasons for this will become obvious when we look at the different regions of our soul, and the different ways we feel, think and act. And this is where we find the keys to understanding the soul and its different expressions across the globe. And that brings us to the end of this podcast, and I look forward to preparing another one for you really soon. So please visit the website i-connecting.com.au. Goodbye for now.